Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be a this or that video, and we are going to be going over Carolina Herrera's A Very Good Girl Glam and comparing it to Carolina Herrera's Very Good Girl. And this is a flanker to a flanker. I can't keep up with these designers. So this is supposed to be a flanker to Good Girl, but it's kind of a standalone fragrance. And then this is a flanker to this. And this isn't the only designer to do this. I feel like Angel Nova did this. So sidebar, real quick. Angel Nova, the Eau de Parfum, and Angel Nova, the Eau de Toilette, and Very Good Girl and Very Good Girl Glam, they all have Quentin Biche behind the perfume. There's also other perfumers, but I will list the perfumers whenever I start to talk about one. But these perfumes, all of them, the Angel Nova, the Eau de Parfum, the Eau de Toilette, this one, and this one are compared to Delina. And some people don't get the comparison. They have touches and similarities, but they're not dupes. But if you like one, you might like the other, or you might not like one, or you might not like the other. You might not understand the comparison. They're all made by the same perfumer. So I get the comparisons and I see how they have similarities. Now, I do have my favorite, which is Delina. To me, that is his firstborn. That is the most beautiful lychee rose, whereas these to me are a little bit more fruity. I'm also going to be throwing in a quick comparison at the end with La Nuit Trésor Intense by Lancôme, because I did see people ask if you needed this in your collection, if you already had one or the other, because this is another cherry almond scent, as well as the new La Nuit Trésor Intense. So let's go ahead and get into the review. All right, first we're gonna go over Very Good Girl. This one was one that when I first hauled it, I wasn't crazy about. This has a sour accord that I don't know where it's coming from, and I do pick it up. But when I wore it the other day to kind of test it out so that I can do this review, and kind of just misted it on myself because I remember it being annoying, I realized that this perfume, less is more, and it really does create a nice scent bubble. So Very Good Girl was released in 2021, and I will list the perfumers below. And this perfume is described as fruity, rose, fresh, vanilla, tropical, soft, spicy, sweet, and sour. This opens up tart and also fresh. So it has that tart lychee, and then it's got like a freshness from the red currant. And it does have kind of that like sweet, jammy rose. This is more of a modern rose, so this isn't overly rosy to my nose. This is more of a fruity, rosy scent. I will say that as this dries down, I do pick up on the vanilla that's in here, and then it has like a kind of spicy, woody dry down, which is the vetiver note that's in here. Very nice. I like this one now. It is one that I do get that sour note in the opening, and I don't know where it's coming from, and I don't like it, but I only get it when I, again, put my nose to skin. And I don't really get it on my clothes or in my scent bubble. And then once the vanilla comes through, because this has gotten stronger on the vanilla, I like this one. It's not my favorite out of the three I'm going to talk about, but I do enjoy it now. Now the new Very Good Girl Glam. I will say this one has not been getting great reviews, and people prefer Very Good Girl, but I actually really like this one. This to me is a little bit more like Angel Nova, the Eau de Toilette. It's a little bit more tart from that. Well, they don't list lychee, but you guys know if my nose gets it, I'm gonna mention it. This does have something tart about it. Now I know it has sour cherry, but I get that famous lychee. So I do believe there's lychee in here. But this opens up with a very sour cherry. This is another one that less is more. If you spray too much, the sour cherry comes off a little medicinal. It's not the same sour that's in here that almost comes off when you think of something turning sour. This is more like a sour cherry. It's more like when you bite into like one of those red, kind of yellow sour cherries. Not the juicy dark ones. It's more like that red cherry. I don't know if you've ever tried any of those, and it's a little bit more refreshing. And I don't really get vanilla in this one, even though they list it. I believe it's bourbon vanilla, which tends to make me nauseous, but I don't really get the vanilla in this one just yet. So Very Good Girl Glam is described as cherry, sweet, rose, almond, nutty, vanilla, fruity, woody, aromatic, and earthy. This has notes of sour cherry, bitter almond, middle notes of rose, lily, and base notes of vetiver and bourbon vanilla. Again, the rose in here is just a sweet rose. It's fruity. It's does have something kind of woody in the base, and there is a touch sweetness, but I don't get the vanilla in this one like I do in this one. To me, if you like more vanilla, you might prefer this one over this one. This one's more tart, sour, aromatic. Both are fresh in the opening, but I would say this one stays a little more fresh throughout the life of the scent, whereas this one does get a little bit more sweeter from the vanilla. I don't pick up the vanilla on this one yet. I have been wearing this one for the last week. Both of them perform really, really well. I will say that I do go nose blind to this one. And I say that because I wore this a few days, and after like the 4-hour mark, I would say it projected very well for the first hour or two. I got that sour cherry for the first hour, which usually cherry notes tend to disappear on me after 30 minutes, but I did get it for a good hour, and then it started to get more like fresh and tart from like more of a lychee note, I would say. And I didn't really get an overly nuttiness in this like I did in the La Nuit Trésor Intense, which I'll go over next. It's just a lighter, tartier version of this one, I would say. This one's a little bit more vanilla, sweet, a little smoother. This one does have that kind of sharpness. I do prefer this one, but this is one that I went nose blind to after 4 hours. I wore this one to a neighborhood barbecue that we were having. There was a few of us barbecuing out front.
I sprayed this probably like around 11 or 12, and then I would say I topped it up like maybe 4 or 5 in the evening just because I didn't notice it anymore. I know it was late in the night when our friends left, and I took a shower and I put on a movie to watch, and then Dennis said our other neighbors have stopped over to come say hi, so I went out there, and when I hugged my neighbor, she was like, "What are you wearing?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't think it's on me. I took a shower." So she came inside because she wanted to know, so I gave this to her to spray, and she's like, "I'll buy it from you right now." But I told her, I'm like, I need to review this perfume.
Always take the performance that anyone says with a grain of salt. First of all, we all have different body chemistry, but also a lot of us can go nose blind. They say that when a perfume goes really well with your body chemistry, you don't smell it anymore. I don't know how true that is, but I will say I didn't notice it. I took a shower and she did. So that is Carolina's Very Good Girl and Very Good Girl Glam. And then next we're gonna go over Lancôme's La Nuit Trésor Intense. I don't know if it's still available, but if it is, I will link it below, because as of now this isn't available in the US. But for my UK peeps and anyone who does find it online, I did see people ask if you had the new Carolina Herrera's Very Good Girl Glam, do you need this one or vice versa? And they're different enough. I would say if you want something a little bit more tart, a little bit more fresh, go for this one. And if you want something a little bit more nutty, because this one is more nutty in my opinion, and the cherry in here is more a juicy dark cherry than it is in this one, I would say go for La Nuit Trésor Intense. So let's go ahead and refresh. Now when I hauled this one, I actually had purchased a 30 ml and it sold out, and they reached out to me and said that I could up it to the 50 ml, but they no longer sold the 30 ml. So I passed on it. I really do wish I would have gotten the 30 ml, because I think if I would have played with this one a little bit more, I would have loved it. So when I first tried this, it reminded me a lot of Guerlain's La Petite Robe Noire Perfecto. I've never tried the original, but the cherry in here was very reminiscent. But the more I tested it out, because I did get 2 samples, to me this is better. This to me doesn't have the powderiness that Black Perfecto had, but I also enjoyed the leather note that was in there because it made it unique. But this one's really good. This started to get more vanilla on my skin, but not bourbon vanilla like in the A La Folie and in Nude. This has Madagascar vanilla, which I'm learning I really, really love. I love Madagascar vanilla. I also like vanilla bean, or when it just lists vanilla. And when it lists vanilla like Absolute or bourbon vanilla, it can't be too prominent or it'll make me nauseous. It's not that I dislike the scent, it just makes me a little queasy. And here it is perfection. I will say that cherry kind of does fizzle out. Also, the cherry in here isn't as prominent as it is in this one. This one is more of a sour cherry. This one's blended a little bit better. This one's more of a sweet, juicy kind of cherry. And again, when I revisited this one, I'm like, if I found a 30 ml, I would totally add this to cart. You can have both of these because this is more of a sexy, nutty cherry almond, and the cherry in here is more juicy and dark, whereas the cherry in here is more fun, light, and sour, and a little bit more flirty and young. I would say this one you can wear during the day. I have this one I would reserve for night. It's a little bit more sexy. This one's really good. I really hope that they do release this in the States because I would get a 30 ml. This is really nice if you can get your hands on it. It's one that if you like Glam's La Petite Robe Noire, I don't know if it will be kind of redundant because I haven't tried the original. I will say that it does have similarities to Perfecto, but I like this one more, and I actually had passed on Perfecto. So I would add this one, or at least sample Guerlain's to see if it's close, because again, a lot of people do compare it. But if you have this and absolutely love cherry almond, I would say you could add this one. Now I will say I don't really get as much of a nuttiness in this one as I do in this one. This one is definitely more cherry almond. It's the same with these where it's more of your modern fresh rose. So for me, it is more about that cherry, it's more about that almond, and it's more about the vanilla. And then it's got kind of like a rosiness floating off in the background. So if I had to rank these, I would say for me, just because I am more of a freshy, kind of tart, fruity floral kind of girl, this one is actually my favorite. This is one that hasn't been getting a lot of praise online, but I do enjoy my kind of fresh tart scents. So I do really enjoy this one. And then I would say Lancôme's La Nuit Trésor Intense would have to be closely my second, followed by this one. I would say if you like more of that vanilla lychee combo, go for this one, and if you like more of a tart sour cherry, go for this one. Less is more. I do find that when you spray too heavy, both of these can get very obnoxious and cloying, so I would just say if you spray less, they will smell nicer on the skin. That is my this or that. Let me know in the comments below, do you have any of these perfumes and what are your thoughts on them? But that will do it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.